Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. So it's a snowy winter day today in January on Nantucket. It's beautiful outside. You know, I don't actually think it feels that cold with the snow. It's slowing down.
Yeah,
I can see that it's slowing down. In any case, it's a snowy day, and we do not have a selectmen's meeting tonight. You'll see this after that, but fifth Wednesday generally don't meet. We do, however, have a meeting next week. And next week, we are going to rediscuss the request of the town clerk to move the election location from the school to the VFW. So that's going to be a discussion.
How's that looking?
I think it seems 50-50.
Try it out?
Just about.
Maybe try it out for a year?
I don't know.
Oh.
I just don't know.
Okay.
We are also going to be hearing from our enterprise funds, airport, sewer, and solid waste, and also the general fund, about their second quarter reports for the current fiscal year, fiscal 2014. We were supposed to do that last week, but there was too much stuff on the agenda, so we moved it to next week. NCTV is coming in to give an update of their activities, and we are supposed to be reviewing our house move protocol. I'm not sure we're going to be ready. We're trying to be ready for that. We're overhauling our permit application and requirements. We've run into some issues lately about house moves, and we're going to be proposing some new ideas to the board about house moves.
What's the problem with them?
Well, there have been some where, for example, damage has been left behind by the mover. Yeah. They don't always do a very good job following the route and picking up after themselves. And we get complaints from residents whose mailboxes and stuff like that have been knocked over, fences, trees. Not in all cases, but enough that it's a problem. The utilities are starting to complain as well about having not enough notice sometimes to lift the wires that they need to lift when it's a particularly big move. Now, they have to do that if requested by the town, but there were a couple of instances, evidently, where the mover wasn't ready to move when everybody's standing around for 2 hours waiting for the move to start. The house isn't even loaded on the thing yet. So that's a problem. So we need to do some better coordination on the front end of this. Anyway, that's going to be a discussion next week, hopefully. It's a little bit tentative right now. What else is going on? Okay, FinCom.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the difference between an enterprise fund and a general fund?
Okay, good question. An enterprise fund is a statutory, it is set up in accordance with the Mass General Law, and it allows, okay, let me back up. The general fund is pretty much all of the regular town departments, and they are funded for the most part by tax revenue. They have some little funds here and there, revolving funds, into which certain types of permit fees are paid, but for the most part, the general fund is funded by tax revenue. Enterprise funds, we have 5 of them: Island Home, Sewer, Solid Waste, Airport, Water, actually we have 6, and Sconset Water. And the idea is they are all supposed to be funded from their own user fees. They are supposed to self-fund. The Solid Waste Enterprise Fund and the Airport and the Island Home do not subsist entirely on their own. The airport is very close. Hopefully in fiscal 15 they will be on their own. They were on their own. There were some issues. I won't go into all of the detail of that now. We'd be here all day. But they are improving.
Do they get money from through just tickets? Ticket sales?
The airport?
Yeah.
The airport gets money through fuel sales primarily, and the rental of the counter space, the car rental agencies, the property that they own around the airport, rental income from that. Yep. And there is some funding from the FAA. So the idea is that through all of those avenues, they should fund themselves, but they ran into some financial difficulty a couple of years ago and had to rely on the general fund to subsidize. That is coming to an end we believe. The island home has never been able to fund itself. It isn't possible, unless we were to raise the private pay fees at the island home dramatically. It just is an operation that doesn't fund itself. The town has always contributed to it. But it does generate some revenue on its own. So it's sort of a, I guess I'd call it a partial enterprise fund.
Does
but
it cost
technically
the town
is
a lot of money?
It costs the town about between $1 and $2 million a year. I don't have an exact figure right in front of me, but that's about it. And then solid waste has also really never been able to support itself. It has too much of an operation for user fees to be charged. We could charge user fees, but they would be pretty hefty on the individual user of the landfill. So over the years, there have been 2 operating overrides approved specifically for solid waste, and we are paying for the mining project out of the general fund. So they're sort of hybrids a little bit, but they are classified as enterprise funds. I hope that does. It gets a little bit complicated, but that's generally it.
Stop.
Should I start?
Start something new.
So the Finance Committee has been meeting very regularly. They are pretty well through budgets, and they are now starting their review of warrant articles. So coming up, they're not meeting anymore this week, but beginning on Monday, they're going to be hearing from the Capital Program Committee about a long-term capital financing plan that the committee has been working very hard on. I've been attending their meetings with them, and they're doing a great job. Tuesday, the Finance Committee is talking about what? Warrant articles again, and Health and Human Services funding recommendations. So the town annually allocates around $350,000-ish for nonprofit health and human services groups. They have to complete an application and apply for the funds. And there's a group called the Human Services Contract Review Committee that reviews all of the applications and makes recommendations to the Finance Committee as to how the funding should be allocated. So they're coming in to talk about their recommendations on Tuesday, February 4th. The committee is meeting again on Thursday, the 6th, and they will be meeting with the school committee on that day, or the superintendent, I guess maybe, will be presenting the school's budget recommendations. And then the following week, next Monday, the 10th, the Finance Committee has its annual public hearing on the warrant article. So they'll hear from the public, any comments or input the public wants to provide. And then they will really begin to finalize their motions for town meeting. A couple of weeks later, they'll continue that for a couple weeks. I think they're going to take a break during the last week of February, which is school vacation week, and then resume the following week, the first week of March, to finish their recommendations. The Board of Selectmen will finish any comments that they want to make to warrant articles. And then the warrant goes to press, publishing, printing, whatever you call it, and gets mailed out to all registered voters. And then we have town meeting beginning on when, Gino?
The 5th of April.
The 5th of April, Saturday, April 5th. So that's the timeline for town meeting. And there's a lot of stuff going on to get ready for that. I'm also working on my layman's guide to the town meeting warrant articles, where we had a guide for the special town meeting in November, which was meant to explain the warrant articles in easy to understand language so that everybody can understand what they're voting on. So we're working hard on that. There's 107 warrant articles, so it's taking a while to get this guide done. I started it actually over the summer because there's a number of annual articles that don't really change that we can use each year, but I didn't get too far with that. So I need to pick it up and get going on that.
And we'll also be doing it here on TV.
And
right?
we have, Gino and I have discussed, actually Gino and I and Mr. DaCosta have discussed, he and I, Bobby and I, doing a, what are we calling it? A review, an overview of the warrant with the Finance Committee motions. We might bring in some people for that, like zoning. Well, I'm not capable, I shouldn't say capable, I'm not authorized really to talk about zoning articles, and I don't know anything about them yet. So I'm not going to be able to explain them, but somebody else will. Anyway, we were going to try to give our own plain English briefing on the warrant with the motions sometime before town meeting. We don't have a date or anything yet, and we have to think of a catchy name to call it.
Yeah.
What were we saying? Oh, Erica had a good idea, like review of the warrant articles with Libby and Bobby Ray, something like that.
Bobby Ray.
Yeah, that's his middle name, Raymond.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that's his middle name. Isn't it? Isn't that your middle name?
Sounds like a country singer.
Exactly. Be cool. Okay, so that's it. Oh, again, a lot of things are going on weather-wise and town-wise. Oh, should we talk about the tree?
Yeah.
The tree,
It's
I
done.
didn't look at it. Is it done? Is it
I
down?
don't know. I haven't looked either.
The tree in front of the Brotherhood, the tree that everybody in town is in love with, including me, started to come down yesterday. I went out and looked at it early in the morning, and Dale, our arborist, was starting to cut the branches off. In my mind, I had envisioned that he was just going to cut it down, but then I realized after actually watching this operation, you can't really do it like that. So he was hard at work doing that, and his guys were down below taking care of things at the, on the ground. And I can't even see up there right now, but I think I saw a Twitter photo that it may be down entirely.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to beat this weather.
Right.
So that's a shame. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it's
But
really a shame.
it unfortunately was a liability waiting to happen. So what else?
I think that's it, Libby.
Okay, so no Board of Selectmen's meeting tonight, but we're back on track for next Wednesday, February 5th. Thanks very much. See you next time.